Hello, Sacred Earth friends and family. Michelle here. Today is the 10/10 portal opening in the year 2021, and it's also Libra season. So today I thought it'd be fun to dive into the topic of soul contracts. It's something that I've really spent a lot of time thinking about in my life and on my spiritual path, and it's something that many people don't think about or consider or even know about. So when I make these videos, I always gear them towards kind of like the beginner or people who are just maybe diving into spirituality, or I definitely gear it towards that, because I try to make the information as digestible and understandable as possible. So I hope I can do that today with soul contracts. So yes, let's talk about soul contracts. So what are soul contracts? Well, soul contracts are contracts that we make prior to our incarnation into this earth existence. There are pre-birth contracts, right? So we make decisions before we're born, what family we'll be born into, what we're going to look like, what our skin suit's going to look like, the jobs we'll do, the places we'll live, the partners we'll have. So how many partners we'll have, how many marriages. Some people might make a soul contract to be married to the same person for a lifetime, and then some people might make soul contracts where they are learning in this earth school, because that's what it is. They might be learning through several partnerships or several marriages. And so and same thing with jobs, where you're working. You might work the same job for a lifetime, or you might be a person who goes from job to job to job, or even town to town to town in terms of where you live, location, that kind of thing. So all of this is decided before you incarnate on this planet, okay? And we are looking also at lifetimes, past lives, lifetimes of experience here on this earth plane. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about those lives. So we have incarnated on this earth into many different skin suits, many different incarnations, many different embodiments. Okay, and so, I know we get very attached to the human form and this particular embodiment that we're in now, but the truth is that we have lived lives as men, women. We've been the mother, we've been the child, we've been the brother, the sister, the daughter, to the people that we are around. We've played all the roles with those people. We oftentimes will incarnate with people who we've already, had lives with. So, your mother could have been your daughter. Your father could have been your son, or, your husband or wife could have been your brother or sister in another life. That kind of thing. And if we're very attached to the physical form and this current embodiment, it might be hard to grasp that or understand that, because we are so much think we are what we are. But the truth is that we have been it all. We have done everything. And a lot of the people on this planet are coming into their maturity, their soul age maturity, middle age, or even older age. And so we've have a lot of experience, and we bring a lot of knowledge and skills to our current lifetime. And so this is just something that I just wanted to say before I started getting more into soul contracts, because this is something, that you might want to consider thinking about, okay? This lifetime is so short. It is literally a speck of our existence, and it's only one act or one chapter in the grand story of who you are as a soul, okay? And that is a very infinite and grand story, okay? You may have lived on other planets. So it's something to consider, okay? I'm just gonna get comfortable here and move my position a little bit. Okay, so let's move on. So let's move on to the types of soul contracts. So we have, well, one more thing. I wanted to say one more thing about the embodiment thing. Let's talk about archetypes, okay? Because I study astrology, and I use astrology in this divination practice that I do. And what I want to say is that people often over identify with certain embodiments. And so I'm talking about this embodiment concept in relation to soul contracts. And people will say, oh, well, I'm a Sagittarius, I'm an Aries, I'm a Libra, I'm a Taurus. And we really start to identify with that archetype, you know. And I think that's a process we have to go through when we're acquiring knowledge of self, when we're getting to know ourselves, okay, and diving into the concept of, who am I as a soul, who we are. So I think that's perfectly fine. But eventually we do have to let go of the over-identification or with a certain archetype or a certain embodiment or certain, even like a teacher, like, someone like, Kuan Yin or Jesus or anybody like that, the ascended masters. Eventually we need to let those things go, because I believe that they are templates for understanding, and they're people who carved a path of understanding. But I also believe that we are also templates for, we are our own embodiment. And so once we awaken enough on the journey to say, okay, I have this map here that from a teacher that the teacher gave me, and I kind of think I understand it. But now I'm coming into my own understanding based on my own gnosis or experience or direct knowledge. And we are in a time where that is absolutely possible, okay? In the past, maybe not so much so, because the planet was darker. But we are all becoming more enlightened, and we're all evolving, and so it is very possible for us to start experiencing gnosis and knowing and direct knowledge. So anyway, we take the map, and we're like, I don't think I need the map anymore, because now I'm standing in the territory, okay? I think that's where we're all headed. I'm not saying that's happening now, and that's happening for everybody, but I think that eventually that is what we are supposed to evolve to, or planning on evolving to, okay? So, soul contracts. Now, soul contracts determine our karmas and everything that we're facing in life. And, again, some of the stuff, the pleasant things, but I think we also need to look at the victories from our past lives and what the victories are. And we tend to look at the negative things, And so into this embodiment, we bring everything with us in our actual DNA. It's actually encoded within us. All our past lives, all our experiences, our karmas, and everything that we're going to do in this life, we bring with us. It's encoded in the DNA. So our DNA is very important, and it's, some people's DNA carries a lot within it that is very attractive to the spirit world, and we are never alone. Everything we do is being watched, and we're teachers. Okay, so like I said, in that embodiment thing, like we're our own template, we're our own embodiment. That's what I'm talking about. Like, we are teachers to the spirit world. Everything gets entered into the Earth Akashic record, and these things will be used as teachings for future generations, okay? So, now soul contracts. They can be quite heavy, quite daunting. But what I'm here to tell you is that we have more control over our soul contracts than we realize, and we can change our soul contracts. We can revoke our soul contracts. Okay, some of the soul contracts that we have entered into were not entered by our own free will. They were entered into through ancestral inheritance or ancestral karmas. Some of our upline, ancestors made choices and decisions that affect us as humans in this life. And so we don't need to carry that ancestral karma. That's like a 50-pound sack of potato that someone said, here, hold this, and you're just standing there holding it, and you don't even know why. So we definitely want to dive into a practice of revoking soul contracts, okay? And, changing up soul contracts. So we aren't stuck with them. We don't have to be. So what we do is we can revoke the soul contracts, and when we do this, what we're doing is we are returning the energy of the soul contract to the 0 point, which is a point of creation and neutrality, okay? It's saying no to karma and withdrawing our energy from the karmic system, which is the cycle of death and rebirth that we go through here on Earth. And it's a bit of we get stuck here. It can be a bit of a cycle. So by revoking the soul contracts, we say no to the karmas. We say no to all of it. And then you might ask the question like, well, what about, don't some soul contracts need to be there? Aren't some soul contracts good, or they can't all be bad, right? And absolutely there is that. But remember, we have a divine soul contract that we came in with, a pre-birth one, and when we enter this reality, we come into a fine print gets added to our soul contracts, okay? So we wouldn't want to sign you wouldn't want to buy a car or, a house or whatever, sign a contract without reading the fine print, And so we don't want that fine print there. That fine print can keep us stuck in loops of karma that we can never get out of. So it's like a ping pong match that never ends, okay? And so in order to balance those karmas, we have to revoke them and bring them to the 0 point, okay? And think of it, since it's Libra season, let's use the Libra analogy. So the fulcrum in the middle is the 0 point, and then we have the 2 balancing scales on each side, and they do this. The middle never moves. It stays neutral. And that's where we want to be. We want to be at that 0 point, okay? So that's my understanding of that. Okay, let's see what else. What else did I want to talk about today? So we can relax a little bit, okay? So understanding soul contracts really can help us relax a little bit, because in this life, many of us have gone through, religious teachings and things like that. And, there's value there. Absolutely, there's value in the teachings. But a lot of us have been taught to believe that we're doomed if we do something wrong, if we make a mistake in this reality, like, it's a sin and things like that. And I'm here to tell you that sin just means to miss the mark. And what happens when you miss the mark? You get up and you try again. It's an archery term, right? So you're just, pulling back your bow and you're aiming again until you get the bullseye, until you get it right. And so each lifetime gives us an opportunity to do this work, okay? But we're now in the time of ascension, okay? So we're ending a big cycle of time, and we're starting to move out of one of the darkest cycles of time in our history. Like, this has been going on for a long time. These are really long cycles, so everything seems like it's bad right now. But there's more light coming into the planet than there has been in quite some time. And so this is the time of ascension, okay? This is the time where we get an opportunity to get off the wheel of karma, okay? And there's many people here, light workers here, helping the planet to do this work of enlightening people so that we can get off this wheel of karma, okay? So that's why revoking soul contracts is so important right now, because it actually helps with the process. It helps us withdraw our energy from the system. And so this is a time of grace. This is a time where we can actually do this work and make progress, okay, and actually change our lives. So when you do the soul contract revocations, what you're doing is you're expanding the energetic space around you. So you could look at it like karma is a very contracted space. You can actually feel the energy contracting around you. When you do the soul contract revocation, you actually open up the space, so there's more space around you. You have more room to move within your reality. And if you stick with it, you have even more room. And like it just sort of expands until you can make more free-willed choices that aren't going to have this sort of karmic backlash, okay? And that's what we all want. So it's just really expanding the space around you and giving you more room and freedom to move about your reality. Okay, now these contracts are deep, and I think I probably should make 2 videos on this because it's a lot to talk about. But I want to get to an oracle card reading today, and so that's what I'm going to do. And the wind blew a card, so I'm going to go grab it real quick. Okay, so the wind blew a card off of one of my decks, and so I'm going to use this card as the significator. So this card is release. And you see there's a man there, and he's the word release. And so this is very telling and a great example of what we're doing when we're revoking our soul contracts, and that we're actually releasing the karma, the karmic effect. So that's going to be the significator card for this reading, kind of the overall arching theme. And that came from the Heart Oracle deck. Okay, so I'm going to pull a few cards here. I have some different decks here, and I'm just going to dive in. Let's see, which deck is calling to me? Okay, I'm going to go to this, which one is it again? Keepers of the Light. Yes, Keepers of the Light deck. So here I go. I'm going to pull a card from here and just see what Keepers of the Light deck has to say about soul contracts and revoking soul contracts. All right. Supreme Protection, Green Tara. Green Tara. Okay. So Green Tara. This goddess actually has some special meaning for me. So that's why I'm smiling so big right now, because Green Tara, she's a Buddhist deity, and her energy is one of the heart, and it just brings forth just this really beautiful healing energy. And so this card is telling us that you are protected, cords are being cut, move beyond limitation, trust. Okay, I was surprised I could read that without my glasses. So trust. Okay, so you are protected in your soul contracts when you do the work of revoking them. It actually brings you, okay, so that's what this card is about. When you revoke soul contracts, you actually, since you're expanding the space around you, you're setting limitations and boundaries with the spirit world, and you are saying what can come into your reality, and what can't, okay? That is a very simplistic view, but it's the basic idea. You know, everything we interact with in the world, to social media, to news, to walking in a grocery store, walking in a clothing store, all the buildings we enter, the products we buy, all of these are a form of tacit consent, and they're a form of soul contract, okay? And so when you do these revocations and you're expanding the space around you, you are creating more protection for yourself, okay? So those things don't have a direct, immediate effect on you as they normally would, okay? So that's a good one, Supreme Protection, okay. Oops, the wind's blowing a little bit. Hope they don't blow away. I'll try to put something on there. Okay, so let's pull another one. This one is the Oracle of the Seven Energies. Let's just see what this card says about soul contracts. Close encounters. Close encounters. The sun's starting to really get bright. I don't know if you can see that, but it's a cage with some butterflies, and it says close encounters. And so when I look at the card, there's a butterfly inside the cage, and then there's a butterfly outside the cage. Lots of sparkly light. Yeah, so if you look at the close encounter, like, I don't know if you can see that, but it's like a caged butterfly, okay? And so what that's telling me is soul contracts can be very binding agreements. They can create a lot of havoc in our life, and we don't have to agree to that, okay? Now, that's easier said than done, because in order to revoke soul contracts and have them be effective revocations, we have to have enough energy available to us in order to actually make progress in the unseen. So, but it's something that the more you do, the more you shed off those layers, okay? The more you release, and the more you release, the more energy gets returned to you, because this is an energy harvesting system, and it's pulling out energy from you through everything. Like I said, tacit consent, your votes, your where you shop, what you eat. Now, we all have to live in this reality, and I don't know about you, but I'm not ready to go, you know, I would love to go live off grid. That would be fun to live definitely live in a place like that. But, you know, like a community with garden and the whole bit. But I also exercise my free will choice to be able to move freely about my reality as I see fit. So we still need to eat. We still need to live life, and we can't just, you know, throw the baby out with the bathwater, so to speak. So, so we need to, we just need to be aware that these are all sort of binding agreements, okay? Oh, the sun's coming in my face. But yeah, so you can see it a little better. There we go, there we go. Yeah, really pretty card. So close encounters. We are coming in close encounter with all these binding contracts every day of our lives. So they are binding agreements. So, all right, let's move on. Okay, so let's see what other deck I want to use here. Okay, I have this feather deck. I love this feather deck. See this feather deck? It has, oh, blue jay. Yesterday I had an encounter with a blue jay, and it was hanging around my area for an hour, so I just noticed it on the bottom of the deck. But I'm going to go ahead and shuffle these. And so blue jay definitely wants to come in as a teacher. Okay, one just flew out. Get that one. It's this feather right here. And it's flicker. New rhythms are coming into your life now. You are encouraged to trust and adapt. Okay. It's the flicker. Okay. So that's exactly what happens when we start becoming aware of our soul contracts and making the necessary changes. What it is, it's opening up space for new energy to come in, new soul agreements, soul family possibly, because we don't necessarily incarnate with our soul families. You know, in fact, that's kind of the plan, is that we don't get to meet up with our true soul families, because when we do, we become powerful beings, and we exchange soul codes that empower us and that activate our gifts and that kind of thing. So so when we do this good work, we are allowing new energy to enter our reality. Okay, I'm gonna put that one right there. Sun shining in my face now. Kind of predicted that. But I feel like I want to pull another one from this feather deck. There's so many lovely, beautiful feathers in here. Love feathers. Let's see, let's pull another one from here. Okay. Finch. New opportunities and choices are opening to you now. Claim them. I love the last words. Here's the feather. And there's the finch. And I love those last words. Claim them. Because when you do these revocations, these soul contract revocations, you are claiming your reality. You're claiming your divine birthright. You're claiming what you want to do. You become a free-willed co-creator within the reality. Okay, it's quite liberating. Okay, so let me just get comfy here. All right, got the sun in my eyes. I feel like I kind of want to move the camera. Let's see if I can do this. There we go. There we go. Yeah, that's better. Just move the camera. Okay, so I have another card I'm going to pull, and this one is called Mystic Art Medicine. This is by Cheryl Lynn, and she is an artist that I got these in Sedona, and she's an artist that passed away a few years ago, I think, and she's, gosh, her art is amazing. So I bought this deck when I was in Sedona, and just love her art. So let's see what comes up. Okay. Truth, truth, truth. So you see that? There's this being there. Wow, that's really lovely. Truth, beautiful goddess. So truth. So this is about coming into your soul's truth, okay? Because the world we live in is very much this artificial matrix. Now that's not to put down the experience, because this is a divine, very beautiful incarnation experience. Coming to the earth is a tremendous gift. There are souls waiting to come onto this planet and to have an experience, okay? Any experience. And so, but we are all here to try to awaken and to individuate. And through the process of individuation, we come into our soul's truth. So revoking the soul contracts can help you come into your soul's truth and stop living a life that was planned by someone else and start living the life that you plan to live, okay? And that's really what I want to say about that. Okay, so now I have another deck here called, it's a new one. Oh, it's called Earthcraft. Earthcraft, really pretty. Look at, this is the back of the card. Okay, Earthcraft. Let's see what Earthcraft has to say. All right. Light, light. Look at that beautiful card. Light. Which is very synchronous, considering that the light from the sun was kind of blinding me and shining in my eyes, and then we see this happening, okay? So, yeah, and I'm looking at the number 16, which is a 7 energy, you know, so that's very much about a spiritual path, a divine spiritual path. So revoking the soul contracts helps you shed off a lot of the darkness, the density, and the things that are keeping us separated from the light and coming into our own light. This allows more source light to work through you. It allows more of your soul to be embodied, your authentic soul. Yeah, it's quite liberating. It reminds me of the Sun card in the Tarot, and the Sun card is very much about freedom and being liberated. This is about liberation, and then see how she's bathing in the water. Water is emotional energy, but it's being charged up and radiated by the sun, and it's like a double dose of cleanliness, getting clean, right, on a soul level. So we got the water and the sun. So we got the masculine and the feminine. So this is about divine union, the masculine and the feminine coming together. The goddess, God-goddess coming together, okay? And so that's what each human on this planet ultimately has the potential to do, is to come into our own balancing the God and Goddess within, the anima or the animus. This is the process of individuation. So yes, I'm gonna put this here. Okay, all right, another one. So I have this heart oracle deck, and it's kind of a very romantic lovers type deck, but it is Libra season, and Libra relationships aren't just about romance, of course. So I'm just curious to see what might come up out of this deck. I felt drawn to it and compelled to pull one from here. The art on this deck is amazing, so let's just pull one from here. So there's the art. Beautiful. Love that art. And this is my beloved. Okay, let's see what it says. Grab those glasses. Though we may be physically apart, spiritually, we are always united, for love transcends space and time. Nothing is missing. Wow. I feel very moved by that. because the people we incarnate with, we become so attached to them in this life, and when we revoke soul contracts, some people might be like, oh, I could never revoke soul contracts with someone I love. But the truth is that we're all on a journey. And I'm gonna move this again. We're all on a journey. And the journey is our own journey. And we come into many experiences, and we've had many beloveds, you know. We can get into soulmate and twin flame and all that, but I really don't want to. I really just want to stick to relationships, because all our relationships are divine, all our contracts are divine, and the love is always going. Our divine connections can never be severed. The cords of love are never severed, but there are contracts do have an expiration date, okay? So that's why some relationships end, whether it's through, you know, a breakup, a divorce, a child leaving home, you know, people moving to the other side of the planet, never seeing each other again, you know, people passing. Though those soul contracts, they were over, they were done. The moment that you leave this earth is actually already decided, okay? There are exit points. I believe there's like 3 exit points, but really the time and the place and the hour of when you will pass has already been decided. So, all of this transcends space and time, okay? All of it is divine, and yeah. Okay, I'm gonna move on from that one. I'm gonna look to the animal deck, see what the animals have to say. Checking in with an animal teacher here. Okay. All right. Wild horse. Speak your passion aloud and defend those whom you love in word and deed. Okay, wild horse. Check that out. Now, horse is a symbol for freedom. Okay, so by revoking soul contracts, we are liberating ourselves. We're becoming free. Okay, untethered. Now, this animal teacher has been showing up for me quite a bit. I just made a post on Facebook with the horse charging, and just these beautiful horses charging on the beach. And I think I put a comment like, this is my soul's urge. And so here's the animal teacher showing up as the wild horse. So we want to be free like wild horses. Free to roam, right? Freely, with passion. And it says, defend those whom you love in word and deed. I feel like that's saying that we need to speak, because the revocations are said out loud, okay? And if you're defending those you love with word and deed, you are speaking your soul's truth, right? Which is this. You're speaking, you're setting your boundaries. And whose are the ones you love? Well, the ones you love, first of all, it's yourself, because you are liberating yourself and setting yourself free, okay? So that you could be an effective person on this planet. So you can be an effective co-creator with Source. So you can go untethered and do the work that you came here to do. And not only do you liberate yourself when you do that, but you liberate others when you do that, okay? So speak your passion aloud and defend those whom you love in word and deed, okay? All right. All right, so I think it's time for a wrap-up card. Let's see, which deck do I want to pull a wrap-up card from? Let's see. Okay, I'll go ahead. I'm going to pick from Sherilyn's deck again and see what's in her deck. Okay. One more shuffle. Okay. Breakthrough. Wow. That reminds me of the first card. So breakthrough. So these soul chart karma revocations can really help you shift the energy so that you have a breakthrough, so that the karma is not holding you back and weighing you down like heavy weights, where you're just spinning in circles on the hamster wheel of life and you can't get your things accomplished. You can't get done what you want to get done. Or maybe you don't even know what it is yet because you've been living a life that's not authentic or in your soul's truth. And so if you commit yourself to these, you can have a breakthrough of where your life, after a period of time, when you gain back some of your energy, that it actually shifts. And I don't know if you can see the guy on there, but it's like there's this guy and there's like light coming through. He's having a breakthrough. It reminds me of that first card, the release, which I accidentally put back in the deck. There it is. Okay, found it. Okay, so let's do a wrap up here. Wow, I have a lot of cards here today, but so the first one was release. We have Green Terra, supreme protection. That's what the soul contract revocations do, is they provide us with protection. Close encounters. That to me speaks to like the tacit consent and moving about our reality, kind of in a cage, you know. It's, then we have the, hold on, let me turn them over. The flicker and the finch. Okay, and the flicker and the finch. The flicker was about new energy coming in, new rhythms. And then also the finch was about claiming new opportunities, okay, which is clearing the energy so that new things can enter. Okay, I don't know, you might have gotten them out of order. Then there's truth, speaking your soul's truth. Wild horse, symbolic of freedom and using your words and to free yourself and others. I might have got them out of order, but here's the light. Okay, that's kind of like bringing yourself back into balance and union. Letting freedom, letting the light shine on you. Healing. Okay, that's about healing. My beloved, though we're physically apart, we will always be united spiritually. For love transcends space and time. That goes for all our soulmates and all our incarnations and all our lifetimes. There is no separation. We have experienced many loves, lovers, and brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, all of it. Breakthrough. Soul contract revocations, revoking soul contracts can bring breakthrough. So, well, that's it, friends. And so I thank you for listening today. And I hope you got a teaching out of this. I just, I'm not really doing readings right now. Just really trying to pour into myself and do my own healing work. But I'm doing this because I like being in the energies. This is work I need to do. So this just keeps me in the divination work that I like to do. So thank you, friends. Have a nice day. And have a blessed 1010 portal. Namaste.